The air in the grand auditorium of the National Institute of Applied Sciences hummed with the nervous energy of anticipation. Crystal chandeliers glittered, reflecting off polished marble floors, where the sharp clicks of expensive shoes echoed. Tonight was the pinnacle of Innovation Awards, a night where the brightest minds in the nation were celebrated. Elias Thorne, a man whose 70-odd years had etched deep lines around his kind, tired eyes, pushed his well-worn cleaning cart along the perimeter. His uniform, a faded blue, was meticulously clean, but it blended into the background, as did Elias himself. He'd worked here for 40 years, a quiet fixture, moving through the halls long after the last brilliant mind had left for the night. He saw the preparations for the gala, the hurried technicians adjusting spotlights, the junior researchers rehearsing their polite applause. A young woman, Dr. Lena Petrova, sharp-suited and radiating an almost aggressive ambition, bustled past, nearly colliding with his cart. She paused, a look of exasperated impatience on her face. "Excuse me, old man," she said, her voice crisp, barely a whisper of apology. "Could you possibly move that apparatus? We need this area clear. And try not to touch anything on the display tables, please. It's rather delicate and quite beyond general understanding." She gestured vaguely at a complex holographic projection unit being set up for the evening's main presentation. Elias simply nodded, a slow, gentle movement, and maneuvered his cart a few feet back, his gaze lingering on the intricate wiring of the projection unit. Dr. Petrova barely spared him another glance before turning to bark orders at an intern. Elias continued his silent work, a ghost in the gleaming halls. He wasn't angry, not truly. He understood. To them, he was just a janitor, a relic. His hands, gnarled and strong, had polished these very floors when many of these young scientists were still in diapers. He'd seen generations of brilliance come and go, watched theories evolve from scribbled notes on whiteboards to groundbreaking discoveries. He'd also seen countless small, overlooked details that could derail even the most brilliant minds. The auditorium filled. The buzz of conversation rose to a crescendo, then quieted as the ceremony began. Elias remained outside, in the quiet service corridor, listening to the muffled applause. He didn't belong in the seats of honor. He never had. Then came the moment. The announcer's voice boomed, introducing the Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Dr. Evelyn Reed, a Nobel laureate, whose revolutionary work in quantum entanglement had reshaped modern physics. A hush fell. Dr. Reed, a woman whose silver hair was pulled back in an elegant bun, approached the podium. She was a legend, her name synonymous with intellectual prowess. She began her speech, a polished, eloquent address about the journey of discovery, the collaborative spirit of science, the pursuit of truth. But then, midway through, she paused. Her eyes, sharp and intelligent, swept across the front rows, past the dignitaries, past the eager young scientists, and then, surprisingly, towards the back of the hall, near the service entrance. "There are many people to thank tonight," Dr. Reed said, her voice softer now, more personal. "My mentors, my colleagues, my family. But there is one person whose contribution, though never officially recognized, was absolutely foundational to everything I've achieved. Without him, my groundbreaking thesis, the very discovery that led to this award, would simply not have happened." A ripple of confused murmurs spread through the audience. Dr. Petrova, seated in the third row, frowned, exchanging puzzled glances with her peers. Who could she mean? A secret benefactor? A forgotten genius? Dr. Reed continued, her gaze fixed on the service corridor. "Decades ago, I was a struggling graduate student, spending countless sleepless nights in Lab 7. I was stuck. My data projections were consistently flawed, riddled with an inexplicable anomaly that defied every theoretical model. I was on the verge of giving up." She paused, a faint smile touching her lips. Then, one morning, I arrived to find the anomaly gone. The projection system, an ancient, temperamental beast, was suddenly working flawlessly. I dismissed it as a fluke, a lucky break. But it happened again. And again. She took a deep breath. One night, exhausted, I watched. And I saw him. A quiet man, a janitor, meticulously cleaning the lab. He wasn't just wiping surfaces. He was carefully adjusting a loose connection in the projector's power cable, a subtle flicker that had been causing imperceptible micro-interruptions in the data stream. Something I, lost in the grand theories of the universe, had completely overlooked. A collective gasp went through the room. Dr. Petrova's face, a moment ago so self-assured, now paled. He didn't say a word, Dr. Reed said, her voice thick with emotion. He just fixed it. Every night. Quietly. His simple, practical insight, his keen eye for mechanical detail, allowed me to finally see the true patterns in my data. It was his quiet, unacknowledged act of service that unlocked the universe for me. Dr. Reed's eyes now shone with unshed tears. She stepped away from the podium, walked to the edge of the stage, and extended her hand towards the service entrance. "Elias," she called out, her voice clear and strong. "Elias Thorne, would you please come forward?" All eyes snapped to the back. Elias, startled, stood motionless for a moment, his faded blue uniform a stark contrast to the glittering crowd. He looked down at his calloused hands, then slowly, hesitantly, began to walk. The path parted before him as he moved, a silent, humble figure. The young scientists, including Dr. Petrova, now stood frozen, their faces etched with a mixture of shock and profound shame. As Elias reached the stage, Dr. Reed stepped forward, her hand still outstretched. She didn't offer a handshake. Instead, with a gesture of profound respect, she embraced him, a world-renowned scientist hugging a janitor. Then, she took his hand, and in front of the silent, stunned assembly, she raised it high. "Ladies and gentlemen," Dr. Reed announced, her voice ringing with conviction. "Tonight, we honor not just the discoveries, but the quiet, unseen acts of brilliance that make them possible. We honor the true architects of innovation." The applause began then, a slow, hesitant ripple that quickly swelled into a thunderous ovation. It wasn't polite or rehearsed. It was raw, genuine, and filled with a sudden, overwhelming recognition of a quiet hero. Elias, his eyes wide with surprise, looked out at the sea of faces, a lifetime of quiet service finally, gloriously, seen. He didn't bow. He just stood there, a beacon of forgotten dignity, as the applause washed over him, a tide of belated gratitude.